Hello students, welcome back to 2D video game design. Today we're going to add on a bullet onto this game. I'm going to make it so my Pac-Man character can shoot. So first thing I'm going to do is create a 2D object. It's a sprite, and I am going to call this bullet. So right here, here's the bullet. I can't see it. So for this example, I'm just going to do a very simple knob shape. Now I can see that here. I'm going to go ahead and move this here, and it's just going to sit there. Let's go ahead and add a rigid body to it. No, not that one. I want the 2D rigid body. And let's go ahead and add a box collider 2D to it. I'm going to go ahead and make it so the gravity scale on this is 0 so it doesn't fall. If I push play now, oops, I forgot on our last video we made this have a gravity scale of -1 just to be silly, but let's fix that. Okay, so now I have this bullet that just sits here. Next, I'd like to program this bullet so it will act like a bullet. And the nice thing about bullets is all they do is go forward. So I'm going to call this the bullet controller. Okay. So all I need for the bullet controller to do is to move forward. So I do want to be able to adjust the speed. So I'm going to make a public float called speed. And let's go ahead and just set that to 10 right now. We can adjust that later. And then to move forward, I'm just going to say transform.translate vector 2 dot right times, just like the previous one, time dot delta time times speed. Okay, now that should work. Let's make sure that we take the script and actually put it onto the bullet. And what we should see now is a bullet that moves forward. There it goes. Now, let's watch that again. You see that it hit and it kind of moved this block and then changed its angle. That's because they both have rigid bodies and colliders. So I would actually like this, in my case, to destroy the block. So I'm going to go ahead and create my private void, void on collision enter 2D. And I'm going to check to see if it's a block using the compare tag method. So if collision dot game object dot compare tag is block. So again, this line right here, just check to see if the bullet hit a block. Okay, so if it hit the block, then I want to destroy collision dot game object and then also I'd like to destroy the bullet itself, so I'm going to say destroy game object. That's the game object that this is attached to. Okay, so now Control S to save this. If I run this, this bullet should hit the block and destroy it. Boom, easy. Now let's just take this and move it out of the way because I'd like to see it travel a little bit further. Okay, so it destroyed the block, it destroyed the bullet, we're good. Now, the problem right now is that I just have this bullet that stays where it is, and it doesn't, it starts in the same spot every time and then it'll destroy this block. That's not much of a game. So what I'd like to have is my hero to have the ability to shoot the bullet. So let's go ahead and get into our player controller. So this is the script that we used last time. So in the update, I'm going to first check to see, am I pressing a key? So let's use the space bar in order to fire a bullet. So I'm going to say right here, if input dot get key down. So get key down is going to say true or false whether or not a button is being pressed right now. And the way I say the space bar is by using key code dot space. And again, I'll put a comment here. Is the space key being pressed? So using this conditional, if I'm not pressing the space key, it'll do nothing. If I am pressing the space key, it will do whatever commands we put in these brackets. So what we're going to do here is we're going to instantiate a bullet. Now, the instantiate method is going to require 3 different arguments on the inside. I need to tell it what to create, where to create it, and what degree it should be rotated when it comes in. So I'm going to say I have the item that I'm going to, didn't mean that, the object that I'm going to instantiate, the one that I'm going to create a new copy of, the position that it's going to come in, and then the rotation. Now, there are lots of errors here because I have not filled any of those in. So the first thing is the object that I'm going to instantiate is the bullet. So what I want to do is go up to my variables and I want to create a new variable that is a public game object. Now, quick note, capital G game object is a game object in the game. Lowercase g game object is the game object that you are attaching this script to. So little difference, that means very different things. So I'm going to say that I have a public game object that is called a bullet. And then I'm going to say that I have a public vector 2 that is the bullet position. Okay, so I'm gonna save this real quick and then I'm gonna go back into Unity. So if I look at the hero on the player movement, oh, that hasn't shown up yet. Okay, so this has an error right now because I didn't fill all this in, so I'm just gonna comment this out for a moment, that way there's no error. And then I'll go back. Okay, so right here it's saying that I have a bullet and a bullet position. So in order to fill in the bullet, I have to give it a prefab. I'm gonna go here into my prefabs and here's my bullet that I want. I'm gonna go ahead, oh, for some reason, this is putting everything at -5. I actually want everything on 0. I'm gonna take my bullet and make a prefab of it. Okay, so now I can take that bullet prefab, and if I look at the hero, I can just drag this bullet prefab onto the bullet, and now I have an object that's associated with that. Okay, so now let's take this out. The thing that I want to instantiate is the bullet. Now, what position would I like to instantiate it at? I would like to instantiate it where the hero is right now. So I have this bullet position. So I'm going to say that the bullet position is equal to the GameObject.transform.position. There we go. So the GameObject has a transform and the transform has a position. So now I can go here and say that I would like this to instantiate a bullet at the bullet position, and the bullet position is currently in the same space as the player. Now the rotation, right here, we'll keep this simple, and we'll just say that I want this to be in a quaternion. A quaternion just means a rotation, but I'm going to say dot identity. So when I say quaternion dot identity, what I'm saying is don't rotate it at all, just instantiate it the way it is. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and push Control S to save it, and let's see what this does. Okay, there's my original bullet, and if I move around, if I push the space bar, you'll see that I fire bullets now. Now, one thing you should notice, I'm just pressing the space bar right here, and you'll see that I am moving away. Now, the reason for this is because I am instantiating a bullet inside the hero, and both the bullet and the hero have rigid bodies and box colliders, which means that the bullet is colliding with the hero and knocking the hero away. So this is not ideal. If you want that, that's great and you should do it. I don't want that. One other thing that we're going to talk about very soon is the fact that I still have all of these bullets. So anything that didn't hit something is still in existence, and that is using up computer power that I would rather not use. So let's go ahead and stop that. So what I would like to do is, instead of having the bullets come into existence in the center of the hero, I'd like for them to come into existence just a little bit in front. So let's go, and I'm going to say that I have a public vector 2 called the bullet offset. And right now that is going to equal a new vector 2, which is going to be 1 on the x-axis and 0 on the y-axis. And then what I'll do here is, when we decide what the bullet position is, I'm going to go ahead and add the bullet offset. Okay, so now we have an error here, and the reason is whenever I do a transform position, this is a vector 3 that comes out of it. So we're dealing in 2 dimensions. I only gave it 2 dimensions here. There are a couple ways that I can fix this. The first way, and this is really straightforward, is I can just change this into a vector 3. And I can just say that the z-axis is 0, and now this works nicely. So the other way that I can do it is by doing something called casting. So the way that I can do this, let me go back here and change this back to a vector 2. Now you see I have that same error, and the reason is that right here with this GameObject.transform.position, that is a vector 3, but the bullet offset is a vector 2. What I want to do is tell it to think of this piece right here as a vector 2. And the way that I do that is by putting in parentheses in front of it vector 2. So now what it's doing is it's saying, here's this vector 3, but the third dimension is 0, so I want you to just think of it as a vector 2. This is something called casting. we can use that in other ways. For example, if I have the number 10, that might be an integer, but I might want to tell the computer, well, think of it as a float right now, and I could cast it to a float. In any case, let's push Control S to save it, and let's see how that looks. If I'm on the hero right now, I see that I have the bullet offset right here, 1, 0. So I can go ahead and go in here. There's my original bullet, and then when I push space, it goes flying out like this. Now what I'm seeing here is that it's coming out right here, and that's a little far from me. So I'm gonna dial this back to maybe 0.5. Okay, that's a lot nicer. Maybe Y, I can drop it down a little bit to negative 0.25. That's a little low. Maybe 0.1. Okay, that's looking pretty good. And now I can go through here and I can destroy these objects as much as I like. And I still have this problem here of all of these bullets just existing for as long as they want. So let's deal with that. So what I'd like to take a look at here is how long the bullet is on the screen. So if I grab this here, I'm going to move this bullet off the screen, and I see that right here it's at negative 11. And then right here it's a little bit past positive 11. So what I can do is say I will allow the bullet to go off the screen a little bit. So let's say 12. But if it hits 12, I want you to destroy the bullet. So let's go into the player controller, not the player controller, the bullet controller. That's in scripts. Okay, so in the update right here, we want to check to see if the bullet position is outside of the screen. So in order to check the position of this, I'm concerned with the X position. And I want to say if game object, so I have a game object, and that game object has a transform, and that transform has a position, and that position has an X value. And if that X value is greater than the horizontal limit, and wait, what's the horizontal limit? Oh, I didn't say what it was. Okay, so let's go up here, and I want to use this as a variable, that way I can change it later. Public float horizontal limit. And if you remember, we were just in the game and about 12 is off screen. So let's say that it is 12. And the nice thing about making this public is that it's really easy to change later. I could just write 12 right here, but that would be a pain to change later on. Okay, so if the game object is in a position where it's greater than the horizontal limit, so anything greater than 12, then destroy game object. Let's push Control S to save it, and let's go back to our game. Okay, there's my original bullet, and now I can still move these around, but then if I shoot it, it destroys. And then I'm watching over here in the hierarchy, because when I push space, it creates a bullet, and then the bullet disappears. So I'm just gonna rapid fire a whole bunch of them, and then as soon as they exit the screen,